This afternoon's hobby enhancement is Nam Nam Alley. Not so long ago, my old mate Llew decided that we were all going to get into 28mm Napoleonics. So I went along for the ride, got enough stuff, he said, to get me started. I did a bit of an unboxing video on these before, the 2 boxes of Perry Miniatures Napoleonic line infantry and a box of Uhlans, and there was also a little blister of command figures. General idea being that would be enough to get me started to joining the games and all of that. What Llew kindly neglected to mention is that if we're doing the 100-day war era, for every unit or two of regular line infantry, you need at least 1 to 2 units of landwehr. So I went through the army list and realised that what I have here is totally unfieldable in that whole era. So I haven't had a look at what it takes to form up a proper brigade. I then had to go and buy a box of these. Then apparently you need another box of these. But because they come in units of basically 2 per battalion, I then had to get another 2 of these, including this older one, which has a completely different configuration of the miniatures and other bits and pieces in it. So that was fun. And then I realised that with just 1 more box of these, I could double the amount of actual units that I have that I can put on the table. So I got them. While I was at it, I thought, well, some variety is good. I'll get some dragoons. And on top of that, I figured that if you're actually fielding these guys in units of 8, which is the standard size, then if I buy another box, and I can get 3 units of 8 instead of 2 units of 12. So I got another box of those. Plus 4 blisters of cannon and some more random command figures. And a 5-year-old trying to kick the door in to get in on my video, apparently. Right. Parenting 10 or 2 for the moment. Basically, this is the unboxing as it looks at the moment. And that's not including all the bloody blister packs. And don't mind the table still set up for Team Yankee in the background. Anyway, if we get rid of all these, fuck knows where the blister packs have all gone. This is roughly what you get. Okay, you just about fit it all into frame. This is pretty much a fully functioning brigade, best I can tell. 2 battalions of infantry and a battalion of cavalry. So what we get is 2 companies of foot, and what's actually 1 unit of landwehr, but 1 unit of landwehr is actually 2 companies. There's some weird configuration involved in the book on that one, but I'm pretty sure that's a street legal battalion. Another street legal battalion here, that makes up a brigade. Then we got the cavalry, and you can attach cavalry to your infantry, but if I'm reading the army list correctly, and somebody will probably correct me along the way, these 4 units of cavalry can be more or less formed up into their own brigade, so their own battalion, with their own battalion commander. On top of that, the infantry, Perry Miniatures infantry, comes with a few, I'll zoom in on these. These are Jaegers. They're running a trail is what it says. But those guys will be painted green instead of the blue used for most of the Prussians. And at the back there, we have 2 sections of infantry cannon, which is probably enough. From what I gather, the best trick with these is to roll them up alongside the infantry and start blasting away for supporting fire at close range. And then we got the commanders, which I'll probably look at a bit more once they've been painted. But what I've done is put the commanders on a nice big base, and I've got three battalion commanders, and the brigade commander right there. And on top of that, because there's a staff officer system, I've gone and put the staff officers on their own little base with just one dude who apparently gallops about the place issuing orders. Well, I haven't road tested that yet, so we'll see how that actually works in practice. And while I was at it, I had a lot of spare figures left over afterwards. So I, where are they? There they are. I did some of these little dudes face down in the mud as casualty markers. Rather than putting a pip next to them on the table, I'll just paint these guys up looking a little bit bloody, and they'll show how many wounds are on any given company of infantry. And well, I've got quite a few of these spare miniatures lying around because the Perry miniatures box set's actually really good. It's got a lot of detail to it. So these are the landwear. I thought I'd paint the landwear first, just to get used to painting. And I did a couple of demo miniatures first. I tried them out with a brown wash. That was crap, so I did a black wash. That looked the part, and I just road tested that past a few mates to see what they thought of it. So my approach to painting these guys, them was to try and just get them done. More than any particular efforts to win a gold demon award or any crap like that. I've tried that with little Games Workshop figures going back years, and yeah, it's nice and all, but I have more figures than I'm ever going to paint. The Warlord stuff doesn't actually come with basing material. So this is plasticard, and it's textured on top. You can't see that in this, but it's basically, 1.2 mil or thereabouts plasticard. The thicker the better. Then what I did to paint these up is I worked out what the main colour is going to be. And for these guys, particularly for the line infantry, it's going to be grey. You've got the grey trousers, you can see there, and on these miniatures here. And with the rank and file, you can see they're wearing nice high pants, and the jackets only come down to their belt. The belt's riding very unfashionably high by modern standards. So I figure if I just spray them all grey, then that'll do for the base colour. All I've got to do then is slop ink over the top. And that also works for the landwear. It works particularly well for their hair and for their sashes, which are also grey. So I don't have to paint in their beards or anything like that, because I figure most of the landwear are actually older blokes who are effectively in the military reserve. They should be retired by now, but they're rather in desperate need for manpower after having worked with Napoleon on his ill-fated voyage to Russia. And everything else I just block painted over the top, and you didn't even have to be that careful with it, because we're going to slop a whole lot of black liquid talent over the top afterwards. And that did the job. So basically went with the flesh tones first, block paint that on, block paint on the red, then if that's a bit messy it doesn't matter, block paint on the blue around that a bit more carefully so you don't slop over anything else. The brown was just block painted on, actually probably before I did the blue, I did the coats last actually, and that's the easiest way of doing it, is water it down slightly and push it into the corners. And the trick I think for speed painting is to figure out where's the detail it's going to take all the time, and if you can just slop that on and then paint around it, then that saves you time rather than having to paint in the detail afterwards. And there are a few mistakes on this. I've missed a couple of bits and pieces here and there, but it does the job. And then it actually looks complete crap until you slop the black wash over the top. I tend to use Vallejo paints for just about everything except for the washes. For some reason they don't agree with me. So I'm still using Games Workshop washes. I think it's Nuln oil or whatever in this case. And the banners are straight out of the kits. I'll just note one thing, most of the kits come with their own banner, but the Landwehr didn't. And if you look closely at the box, it just has the banner wrapped around a rifle. The rifle's got enough stick to it to wrap a banner around the top. But I thought that wasn't really chunky or sturdy enough, so I went and made my own banners. This one needs to be trimmed down, but that tube is from a what do you call it, cotton tip, one of those things that people use to clean their ears out even though the instructions specifically say not to. And I just scraped some of the detail off the barrel, slipped that over the top, a bit of glue, it's nice and strong. That will hold the banner more sturdily than just gluing in the gluing it to the bayonet on a normal guy. Funny thing with this, I ran out of command figures, so I was scrounging around for bits and pieces, and I found this guy. He's a 28mm metal figure. It came as a freebie when I bought a whole lot of Black Seas ships. A bunch of those box sets. So he came in useful, looking very dashing and not at all disciplined. The basing that I use is just, paint it dark brown, dry brush it, stick some static flock on it, because it's fast, it's proven, and it blends in quite well with the table I've been using for the last few years and probably keep using for as many years as I can keep it intact. Yeah, and it took quite a while to assemble and base all this up. There's a shed load of it. But we are now at a point where I have a functional army. Not just a few troops to throw in with everybody else, but pretty much an entire force for one side of a battle. Some of the battles we do, the multiplayer ones, might be twice the size, but that's all right. It means if there's two of us on one side, I've got one person's worth. And this should keep us kicking. It's taking about a week probably to paint one unit of the Landwehr. And let's see if I can get the focus on this to work. That's what they look like in line. All of these are formed up in line, but these guys can do battle columns as well. And you know what? They're not the most neatly painted miniatures. I'm sure that Llew will always be able to paint better than me, but I'll actually get these bastards done. So yes, I started off with 3 units of infantry and a unit of cavalry. And now I have, God help me, all of this. It's going to take me quite a few weeks to paint all of this up. So there you go, Llew. You got me into it. I suspect if you told me exactly what I was getting myself into, I wouldn't have. So very, very cunning of you, sir, and congratulations. On that note, I'm going to get back to painting this lot, and I might do another little update video once I've got enough of it painted to field for a proper battle. Alright, I think that's enough for now. Thanks for watching. Feel free to hit like, subscribe, etc. We'll try and get some videos from the battle bunker at Llew's place. For now, time to call it a day.